Zell, how we doing today, man?
I'm all right, man. I can't complain. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good, man. I want to talk to you about your time teaching this year, the roller coaster that has been in the classroom. How you feeling about this year so far during a pandemic?
Honestly, it's in the beginning, I was a little bit, I won't say unsure. I was unsure. Now it's more like, I'm in a groove of it now. We're in a groove of it now. My kids, I know that's what it is. I know that's the norm right now. So, my optimism level is real high in terms of what can come from it. But I mean, we're working with what we got, man. If we gotta do virtual school, then this gonna be the best virtual time that we're gonna have. So, I can't complain at all. My kids get it. I keep them whatever to keep them engaged. So it's been going pretty well. I have to say that.
So, virtual school. As a PE teacher with young little babies, pre-K to kindergarten students, how are you able to teach remotely?
Man, it's just a matter of you coming into their world. I do a lot of, like screenplay where I'm using the dynamics of the screen in terms of perception and how close I am. I do a lot of student-led activities. My students, we do well. I mean, especially like for that age group because I can be animated, because I can be quote unquote corny, whatever y'all want to call it. When it comes to them little kids, like I can do all that, and they can be engaged. So I meet them. I literally meet them where they at. If I know we doing, they do jumping jacks, they do squats, they do lunges, they do push-ups, they do sit-ups, they do calf raises. I mean, they do it all because I'm able to. The same way they watch these people and they watch these cartoons on TV because they bring them in. We just got to do the same thing.
So I saw the clip on Twitter, where y'all on a Zoom call, got all the
Oh
boxes up,
yeah, yeah.
right? And so you just finished a workout with the kids, you got them stretching and having fun, doing the dances, being creative. Where
Uh,
does that come from? Why do you instill that self-care, that self-empowerment into those students?
it's important. It's something that I didn't necessarily realize till I got older how big it is, and until I got into the schools and just realized how much kids need it, how much kids need to know that their feelings matter, how much kids need to know that it's okay to feel and it's okay to turn up and it's okay to turn down, it's okay to feel good about yourself, like those positive affirmations or bringing in the dance moves with something like your deep breaths and your meditation. It's just a matter of bringing them in. They know how to do the mop, they know how to do the whoa, but they don't know about meditation. So how do you bring those two, into how do you bring quote unquote yoga into their world? How do you bring like self care and mindfulness into their world? So you have to intertwine the two so they can get it. They don't even know they don't even know what they're doing. Like, but when they're taking their deep breaths and they're cooling down, getting ready, they don't even know what they're doing to themselves, but they're doing it, and it's a form of self care
They just enjoy being together, being with you, that interaction.
for
As
sure,
young kids, you just want to get around, wild out, and just do all of that type of stuff.
for sure.
But it seems as though you, as a PE teacher, you have like a holistic method to the madness, right? So you've got your stretching, you got your self care, and I know you talked to them about mental health and those
hmm
sorts of things. How do you teach such young students who are facing so much right now about balancing mental, physical, emotional health, and all of those emotions?
First for me, I got to show it. So I got to make sure I'm working. I got to make sure I'm eating the right way. I had to start tapping in to do yoga so I can talk to them about yoga and meditation. So I had to do those things first in order for them to believe it, and to have that translate to them. It becomes a little easier because they want to feel good about themselves, but they just don't know that they want to feel good about themselves. So for them to when I tell them to hold up their muscle and tap your muscle and give your muscle a kiss, I'm like, give your muscle a kiss, like you love your body, you love yourself. Those things, or I just know it's important. I just know that it's a very intricate part that skip is not taught in schools. So I have the capacity to be able to bring it into the PE world and show them, yeah, physical health is a thing. You feel good when you work out. You feel good when you feel strong, and all that ties into your mental, to your physical, all those different aspects of health. Physical health and mental health all make up who they are. And if we can get them at 3, 4, and 5 to realize that those things are important, we ain't got to wait till we in our 20s, 30s to say, oh man, now I need to start doing this, or man, I need to take mental health serious, when there's a way to give it to them right where they at. They don't know that they need to take those deep. They don't know what those, like, deep breaths help them cool down so much and help them gather their thoughts so much. So just the deep in and out, and they think it's funny and they think it's fun, but after we finish, they back, they back, you know what I mean, calm, and they ready to go on to the next thing.
They've gone through a few months of this new normal
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic, virtual learning, distance learning. Have
Mm-hmm.
you seen a change in them from the beginning? You know, with doing the PE and the mental health education to now.
Yeah, I'm guess. I mean, even a lot of the change came with me as well. Like I said, at first I was a little just unsure of what to happen. So to be able to try to roll these things out virtually and for them to get it is a whole nother thing. I don't put too much pressure on my kids or my parents. I look at it like I give them a lot of grace because this is a new norm for all of us. So them giving me the ability to be able to try these things. I mean, we take deep breaths and we work out in class, but it's a little different virtually. So my students and my parents just give me the space to be able to be myself and try to incorporate those things for the work. So if I'm looking, the difference is just, I just see a lot of growth in terms of how we started with being unsure and then like becoming optimistic to now it's a rolling process and we're doing it and it's becoming a thing. So the biggest difference I've seen was just growth, man. My students getting it and them understanding and putting this workout with this workout and them pretty much being able to lead the class because they know how it goes. So that's been my the biggest difference is the growth.
Well, this pandemic, it disproportionately affects people that look like you and me,
For
people that
sure.
look like the students in your classrooms and in our communities. You know, DC is actually going to start opening up some of these schools. How
Yeah.
are you feeling bringing back these babies into these schools?
Um, Another one of the unsure. I'm back to it just because I mean, it's safety first. I mean, of course, I want the kids to be back in school just as much as the parents do. I understand. I know the burden that it puts on the parents. Because this isn't normal. You're used to your kid going to school and they're home for the summer. So I know everything that comes with it. But I mean, it's about safety first. How can we keep these kids safe? How can we keep the teachers safe? It's gonna be, I don't know. I'm not into that. I don't know how they make those decisions, but yeah, I'm optimistic. I like to use the word optimistic because I want it to happen. You know, I really do. I really want it to happen. I want these kids to go back into school. But my first thing, I'm kid first. I ain't tripping on me. I'm kid first, and them kids gotta be safe. And so yeah, man, if they can find a way for us to do it safely, for them kids to be able to do this safely, I'm all for it as long as it's safely. You know.
I mean, a lot of this series that I'm doing is about the protection and the safety of kids
For
and
sure.
teachers, administrators, and educators because of this, like you said, this unsure and this uncertain time. They're facing a health pandemic. We talk about a racial pandemic with Black
Sure.
Lives Matter and all these things going on right now. But in the midst of everything that's going on, these students are living in Ward 7,
Yeah.
Ward 8, Southeast. You know, you talked about in the interview earlier that they hear gunshots sometimes when they go
For
outside.
sure.
We talked
Yeah.
about Davon McNeil, the 11-year-old who was gunned down this summer,
For sure.
right? So they're facing so much at 3, 4, 5 years of age. Um, what does it mean to them? You know, if you can just go get into the heads of the students a little bit to have a black male role model who's kind of been in their shoes before and who's dealt with this before.
Um, well, first, my kids, they don't even know what's going. Like they live in, and because they live in it, it's almost the norm. So when they hear a gunshot, they know it's a gunshot. You know, and if I'm walking them home, it's so transparent that a 7-year-old can say, "Hey, can you walk me home because I hear gunshots, or can you walk me home because they were shooting here last night?" So,
They
or,
ask
yeah,
you that.
yeah, exactly. And it's not. It's literally, hey, can you because of this? So they get it. But yet they still come to school. They still smile. They still come to learn. They still have that same joy factor. Yet all these things are going on. So I mean, it's hats off to them, and they don't know. So which is why I have to. It's almost like a duty, you know. I want to be that person, but I take that with a little bit of pride. Of I want them to look at me as that. I want them to look at me as just like them. So when they see me do the things that they see me doing, I consider myself I'm ordinary, just like we all human, and we all just got our gifts and we all just do the work. So when they see me and I'm able to be on the news for something positive, I want them to know that they could do the same thing. When they see me go to Ellen and they see the kids come like, you're me, I'm you. I'm no different than the next person. So I love that I could be that person they relate to. We got the same shoes, we got the same music. I wear my earrings to school, so do they. I wear what shirt they got. I might got that same one at home. What brand is that? So I want to be that, whether it's a father figure, uncle, a brother, a cousin. It's always going to be past just Mr. Prather for me.
I mean, whether you're a father figure or uncle or a brother, it seems as though you care so much about these students. You care so much about kids, and that's part of your mission. Why?
I mean, it's like you said, it's part of my mission. It's a duty. I don't know. I mean, kids. I hate to be so cliche, say the children are a few, but I mean, kids are really next up. Um, they just do something for them. You learn so much from them. I mean, I started out in the classroom before I went to PE, and to get a kid to go from coming in and not knowing any words to leaving and they're reading is amazing to me. Or the love, the unconditional love you get from these kids is a real thing, you know, and I embrace it and they embrace it. And I know a lot of these kids don't have, I know the news shows, I know what outside shows, I know what a lot of the neighborhood shows, and there's people that look like us that aren't doing the right thing. They put these people in the limelight that aren't doing the positive thing. So I gotta be that. I mean, it's part of why I'm here, you know, so to be that person. And I mean, and it forces me to have a certain level of discipline to make sure that I'm representing myself the right way, because I know that they looking, and I want them to look, you know. So I know the kids looking at me, and I know that they think I'm cool. I love that too. So I got to make sure that I'm always, you know, doing the right thing and staying on top of my P's and Q's.
You know, I grew up in DC as well and went to DC public and private schools. And I can tell you for a fact, I only had one black male
I can
teacher
believe it.
in the actual classroom. And it wasn't, it wasn't until I was in the eighth grade.
I can believe that.
So you as someone who's been in the classroom with these kids at 3, 4, 5 years of age and PE and being such a role model, can you talk about what just representation means to a student at that age? Like a black male who is representing himself positively, that it does, the effect that it has on, a 4-year old.
Um, it, I'm hopeful that that, like I said, that they can see themselves in me. I know what it does for the parents. A lot of parents, I mean, because there's not a lot of black males in the household, because there's not a lot of black males in a lot of these people's lives. Um, they look at me as that person sometimes, and I'm okay with that. So because we're not represented in a whole lot of these other places, because being a stand-up gentleman, being a man of principle, being a man of honor, they don't like they don't like to show that. They like to show the other one. So yeah, I got to be that in there. I need my kids to know that you can be cool, you can look as cool as you want, and you can be a teacher too. You know, so like Mr. Prather could freestyle for you if you want to, but then I can also teach you these ABCs. Then we can go kart and we can be cool. We can party. We can do the dance moves. Then we can go to church. Then like we can literally do it all. So it's super important for me to show them the whole human of me, where they can see me. If I go on a trip to Bali, I show them. If I host a comedy show, I show them. They see me. If I'm hosting a party or a club, they see that part. So I want them to see the human being of a person that looks like them, that talks like them, that walks like them, that wears the shoes that they wear, the clothes that they wear, and say like, man, I don't have to be just like, I ain't just a teacher, you know, I ain't just a host. I don't just do comedy. I don't just do philanthropy work. I don't just have a nonprofit. I do a whole lot of things, and I'm a teacher too. And that's the same thing I want my kids to know.
It sounds like you're dismantling the stigma of teachers being nerdy and teachers not being cool.
For sure. It's so many more. I know so many teachers that do so many other things. And it's about, and the kids relate to us as human beings. It hit different when the kids see you outside of that school. Like my kids see me out, and now that they see me out, now I'm a regular person to them, instead of that's the man from my school, or that's the teacher from my school. If my name is Mr. Prather, I'm just Mr. Prather. I'm Mr. Prather the mentor, Mr. Prather the teacher, Mr. Prather the person who you ride with. Whatever it is, Mr. Prather just happens to be my name, but that doesn't just make me a teacher. And I think we have to show, especially at this age, at least for me, my goal is to show the kids that I care. Somebody cares, because everybody can. Everybody don't have the capacity to do it. People have a lot of things going on. I'm just blessed enough to be able to share my resources and my time with a lot of these kids and show them that teachers do care about you inside of this classroom and when you leave here. Like I care about you when you're not in my class. I care about you when you're upstairs in the first grade, in the second grade, when you go to middle school, when you go to high school, when you leave, you can still come holler at me. So it's a matter of showing, man. Kids appreciate that. They appreciate that so much.
You talked about showing up and doing the work, which is your motto
For sure.
for your foundation, the Prather Foundation, which you started to empower the next generation of leaders, how are you going to continue to show up and do the work amid a global pandemic, with the election and everything that's going on in the world and how the world is changing? What are you doing for the future for these students?
Man, well, the work never stopped with us. All we did was pivot. So when it was time to shut things down and we couldn't move too much, we just figured out the next needs. What's going on in these families? Some families couldn't pay their bills, so we did a month where we paid a bill a day for 30 days. And then the next month, some people, what's going on with them, who knows what. So then we did a month where we filled the family's fridge for a day. We did groceries, and then we teamed up with Ivy City Smokehouse and passed out 150 meals every week to the hospitals, to the doctors, to those first responders, to those people that were on the front line for these things. We did stuff for the protests and Black Lives Matter movement. We're doing the Southside Market right now. We always keep a young entrepreneur down there that we sponsor their table to be able to come get their entrepreneurship things off. Thanksgiving is coming up. We got an initiative coming up for that where we feeding families. Christmas is coming up as well. That's one of our holiday season is one of our big seasons. But the work don't ever stop. You just, because people always need, communities always need, they always need you. Just a matter of finding out where you fit in that. So if it's not public events and we can't gather like that anymore, how else do you need? Is it, I didn't host it, free Zoom calls. And free is just because people do charge for it, but I do it because I want to do it. But, and did little classes outside of the normal school day, just to give parents, I know they want that little break or just give kids something to do. So the work never stopped. You just figure out a way how to pivot. And that's over here with the Prather Foundation, man. We're going to do the work regardless. So whether we got to do it inside, if it's paying the bill or sending you groceries or making sure y'all eat that night, if it's birthday, if it's Christmas, if it's whatever it is, we meet the needs of the community. Like that's regardless if we in person or not.
This is much, much bigger than teaching. It's much bigger than just being even a role model. I mean, you're really, revolutionizing and leading the community in a very scary time right now.
For sure.
Your foundation, your work in the classroom. I just want to say right now that I appreciate you doing that for the students and for the families in DC, in our communities. And every Saturday, you talked about Southside Market, where you bring in entrepreneurs and you bring in vendors, Black-owned vendors, to distribute their creativity. That's all you and your foundation and the things that you're trying to teach in the community. So I thank you right now. Founder of the Prather Foundation, and you are a PE teacher at KIPP Academy in DC. Is there anything that you want to leave us with? Anything that you wanted to shout out real quick?
Well, first, man, thank you for having me, man. I appreciate that. I appreciate you using your platform and your gift to show what I do, show what we do with the Prather Foundation and Southside Market, man. So I definitely appreciate that. Man, listen, I want everybody to do the work, man. I don't care what it is that you do, what it is what your lane is, man. If you do the work, and I'm just a firm believer that if you do the work and it's aligned for the right goals and with the right people, that it'll get done. Holiday season coming up, the pratherfoundation.org is where you can find all the information on how you can help be a part of what we got going on. But I want everybody to do whatever it is, man, just do it. That's all we did on this side, from the Southside Market to the Prather Foundation. So what we do in the schools, literally just put our head down and do the work, and boom, now we on Ellen, and boom, we on the news, and boom. But it's literally the work, man. We ain't no different than the next. So that's it, man. Do the work. That's all I know.
It's amazing what you can get when you do the work, man.
I promise you.
You're a living testament to it.
I promise you. And I ain't trying to tell you, I go to work every day like the next person go to work every day and put my pants on one leg at a time, and it's correct. And boom, you just do the work. I've been doing this for 5 years, nonprofit for 5 years, and I just made it official this year, and boom. But and they like, oh, you on Ellen, but man, it's 5 years, and I'm making started out doing it for 8 kids, ended up doing it for 350 kids. Now this year we're doing 1,000 gifts. So it's the growth, but the growth don't come without the work. So I'm loving it, but it's just a testament to the work, So I'm proud. I'm proud of us. I'm proud of what we can do when we do the work.
I know it's hard, and I know there's tough times right now, but please continue doing the work for the kids in this city and our community, and around the world, and spread that love. We really appreciate you coming on this show. I really appreciate you coming on this show, man, and just spreading that light, that positivity, and the things that you do for our youth in the classroom and outside of it.
My man, I appreciate you, brother.